Optibotimus coming with another video review. And today we're going to be taking a look at the new 2012 San Diego Comic-Con Hasbro exclusive of the Fall of Cybertron Bruticus. Now what makes this so special? Well, number one, it's a big, huge box. As you can see, gorgeous artwork on here. You got Jazz down here, utterly destroyed. In the middle here, Ironhide fighting Shockwave. You got Megatron over here. You got the Seekers flying around. I don't even know who that is. But Bruticus has him, and he's kicking his butt. Now the other thing is that this is very special because this particular version is the only way that you're able to get the actual game accurate colors for Bruticus. The regular retail version, which are also going to be individually packed and not available in a giant box set like this, they're all going to be different colors and not how he actually looks in the video game. So very excited about it. You flip around here on the side, you got Transformers Generation. On the back, huge Decepticon logo. That kind of looks like Shockwave's chest right there to me, if you ask me. Same thing with the bottom. That's about it for that. But then you open it, and I actually have already opened it, and it's a little bit different. So I'll show you here that in a second. But here on the side, you see the Fall of Cybertron Bruticus. Angling up a little bit, you see all the characters along the side. You got Onslaught, you have Swindle, Blastoff, Vortex, and at the very bottom, you have Brawl. And they all combine to form this massive, super massive, super awesome looking Bruticus figure, or character I should say. One thing that's kind of interesting is that the limb configuration is reversed on this image than how they actually give it to us in the toy and what the instructions tell us. Zooming in here, you can see, I mean, that's an absolute beautiful looking piece of art right there, going all the way down, taking a look at his legs. Fall of Cybertron Bruticus, and then coming around here, like I said, there's Brawl, Vortex, Blastoff, Swindle, and of course, Onslaught. And then you get an actual little bio right down here for the guy. And it says, during the long, cold Cybertronian night, when Autobot infantry huddle in their trenches listening for any sign of Decepticon attack, tales are told. Most are of home, of peace, of hopes for the future. But there are also a few dark tales, the kind the old soldiers tell the new recruits in the hope of preparing them for the reality of war. The darkest of these features, the Decepticon known as Decepticon Bruticus. His approach is heralded by the roar of cannon fire and the rumble of massive footsteps. The air around him ripples with the heat of his lasers, and the very ground collapses into rubble beneath his mighty feet. His fists can shatter mountains, topple buildings, and crush entire squads. He is a walking Decepticon army, the embodiment of Autobot defeat, and his name means terror to all Autobots who have seen him and lived. Many of the younger Autobots, secure in their inexperience, hope one day to see him, if only from a distance. But the more experienced troops know that such a hope is foolish in the extreme. For where Decepticon Bruticus goes, doom follows close behind. And there he is, and it's actually kind of hard to see him because the lighting and such, but this actually removes. You see how massive this figure really is. I know it's actually really kind of hard to see. You flip around here on the back, and you basically got the same read-up that we got on the inside. But very cool. I absolutely love the way this looks. Now, like I said, the actual configuration that they have on here is different than what the box art shows. Well, some of the box art on the inside is different. But there he is, guys. This thing is massive, and because this is massive, this review is going to be massive. So I really hope you guys are ready for this, because this is going to be pretty long. We got 5 deluxe figures. We got to go through all of them. Got to show you how to transform them. Got to show you how to combine this massive guy. So much work is ahead of us. So go get some popcorn. Go get a soda. Sit down, relax. Let's get this guy open and see how cool he actually is. Alright guys, so here we have the Combaticons opened up and out of their packaging. And one thing that I kind of find interesting is that nowhere does it actually refer to these guys as the Combaticons. Just refers to them as Decepticon Bruticus, which is really just kind of strange if you ask me. Now when you open it up, you get all the figures obviously, and you get 5 individual instruction manuals on how to transform them to vehicle mode, to robot mode, and also their limb modes. Now I'm going to go through each of these individually, almost as if it's going to be a separate review for each one, because I think that'd probably be the best way to kind of showcase each individual robot and give it kind of its own individual review all in one video. So starting things off first, we're going to take a look at Swindle. As you can see, Swindle is kind of this truck thing. Honestly, I have no idea. He's got this kind of grazing thing here in the front that kind of reminds me of a tank that's got like minesweepers here in the front of it, but really it doesn't have too much. I mean, it's got some cool exhaust pipes here, and you got some here on the side, which is really kind of neat. You got his accessory, his little arm cannon, or gun, whatever you want to call it, but it just pegs right inside here. It can rotate if you really wanted it to, but it's nothing too spectacular. It is very, very cool looking, although it really does kind of seem very hollow. As you can see, it's very thin and there's not a lot to it. He is a deluxe size figure, rather the new kind of deluxe size figures that we're getting, and he is like I said, a little bit hollow, which is really kind of unfortunate. I do like the way it looks, some good paint applications on here. I really do prefer this look to the regular retail version that we're getting, and honestly when it comes down to it, I think that this is a much better paint job for it. That's just my personal opinion. But the Transformer, what you want to do, just come around here, separate these arm panels, kind of just loosen them up here, and well, here as well. Just kind of get those out of the way, and then take this section here and kind of wiggle this and untab it. The one thing I'll say about these figures is there's a lot of tabs that really kind of make me feel nervous. They tab in there really securely, and like for example these tabs right here, I fear they're gonna break at some point in time, but that's just me. So angle these up, rotate the torso all the way around just like so, take these legs, straighten these out just like that, separate them here, take this foot section, rotate that around, do the same on this side as well. Now this part right here is a little bit scary. Now initially I thought that this was as far up as it could go, and then forcing it up seemed like it was going to break it some. What you actually need to do is, while lifting it up, actually push it down just like so, and that locks it into place. Do the same on this side as well. I'm trying to show you this piece here really kind of gets in the way, so kind of lift this up this way and then slide it back just like so, and that's going to create this in a straight line. So that's actually how it's supposed to be. Then come around here, rotate the head out just like so. These tab sections here on the bottom are going to tab into slots here and here, so rotate this down, angle that so that can fit in there perfectly, and then in doing so there's also some tabs up in here on the inside that are going to lock it into place as well. So push that in and then push that down like so. Take these side bits, rotate those around, rotate that around like so, straighten it out, then take these, rotate these around. You don't really have to. I mean, if you might like it looking like that. I prefer to rotate him around. It gives his hand more of a definition, I suppose. But here you have Swindle in his robot mode, and this, honestly, right off the bat, this is probably my favorite figure. Ironically enough, he's also probably one of the biggest figures. Very cool looking though, but again, really kind of hollow, especially here in the back. I mean, you've got a lot of parts coming back here that really just makes his legs look hollow. And then you can see the back here, it's not too terribly bad. Overall, fairly simple transformation on this guy, it really is. In terms of his articulation, his head rotates left and right, and that's it. It's not on a ball joint from what I can tell, so it's really kind of screwed. Now I guess you could put this above his head. Well, no, you really can't, because it kind of angles down, but you got his gun here that he can hold on to if you really want. very kind of cool. The shoulders here are on ball joints, so you can kind of get them going up and down like so. They rotate obviously all the way around. He's ball jointed here at the elbow, so nice range of motion as well. Nothing at the wrist. His waist, though, as part of the transformation, rotates. Ball jointed hips, so good range of motion. It also has a swivel here at the thigh, and he bends at the knee. And then this, as part of the transformation, there's a little bit of a pivot there as well. So really cool figure. Like I said, this is probably my favorite looking of all of them. And ironically enough, he's also probably the biggest, which is really kind of strange because really Onslaught should be the biggest, but he's not. But I really do dig the way that this guy looks. I think it's really kind of cool. And there's no light piping, unfortunately. He's got painted purple eyes, though, which is really cool. Now to transform him back, come around here, loosen up the torso bit, and then loosen this section up on the back, rotate his head down and around just like so. And then with these, again, you have to do some pushing and some sliding. So push up and then push down like so. Push up and then down, and it's really kind of a pain, and it feels fragile. I'll be honest, it really does. It feels as if something's gonna break, and it makes me kind of nervous. Rotate at the waist, take the foot, tuck those down, then take these little side bits, rotate these around as well, just like so. Keep those down to the side, angle it up at his hip, and then bring the legs together. They tab together there and there nicely. Keep those angled up right, and then you're gonna see a little tab on the inside of his forearm that's gonna peg into the inside of his thigh here. You just have to find the right spot for it. So angle that around, and then keep this down. Where are you at? Oh, I'm sorry. Angle it in, just like so. Bend that down. Keep this up. And then tab that in. And if you don't have this straight, his like hips, if you don't have it straight when it's rotated, it won't line up properly, which is kind of a pain in the butt. And actually, I screwed that whole thing up. These have to be rotated around. I'm terribly sorry, guys. Those have to be rotated around so that when you bring this in, it lines up nicely. There we go. If you keep those down there, obviously it doesn't give enough clearance, and then just squeeze that in, and there we go. When it's not on here straight, the arms don't seem to like tabbing in very nicely. So then rotate this back, rotate this down like I said. There we go. And then bring these in, and these tab in here and there, and here you have Swindle back in his vehicle mode, and like I said, these pop out. So very cool looking. It's very Cybertronian in its look, and I do like it. It's just, like I said, a little bit hollow. It's my favorite of the figures, just a little bit hollow. Now to actually go into his leg mode, you just take these, fold these up, separate this again, and like I said, the tabs just really make me feel nervous. Then you have to fold this up and then accordion this down, which brings out the connector bit. And then you bring this down like so. Keep that straight. And then this is going to tab in again. But now what you can see here, there are actually two tab sections, the top one and the bottom one. The top one is what you want to use when you're putting him into vehicle mode. The bottom one is what you want to use when you're putting him into his limb mode, because in doing so, it gives a little bit of a bent look to him, which is cool. And then rotate this around, so normally it was kind of like that, rotate that around. And here you have him in his limb mode, which it's just a leg. I mean, it's nothing spectacular. This is going to be the knee section here, and when you move the knee, you can see this whole panel here actually moves, which is kind of neat, I guess. But there you have Swindle in his leg mode. Up next is the other leg, and that's Brawl. As you can see, he is a floating tank of sorts. This is a really kind of weird looking mode, honestly. I'm honestly not a huge fan of it. I mean, you can leave this down here, I guess, if you want. I guess it looks a little bit better.
He's got the cannons here at the top. He's actually got 3. The one here in the middle is actually his handgun in robot mode. And then he's got these little bits. It's really blah, if you ask me. It kind of looks like a tank where you got these treads here on the side, but it looks like it probably hovers in the game or something, and having the tank treads is really kind of weird. It's kind of like Megatron in that respect, I suppose. But it's a decent looking color. I like this version. I like the coloring on here. It's just really kind of awkward looking. So I don't know. This will rotate 360 degrees. And that's unfortunately it. Now, this is probably one of the weaker figures, in my opinion, both vehicle mode and robot mode. Now, to transform them, just take this section here. You want to untab that, get this gun out of the way, and then just kind of leave that dangling up there just like so. Take these leg bits, separate that. Oh, I'm sorry. Actually, untab this back section and lift that up. Then take these leg bits, rotate these out. Go ahead and do that on both sides. And again, it uses tabs that really kind of make me feel nervous about using them. It really kind of makes me feel like they're going to break. Rotate that around, then fold out the foot, just like so. The biggest problem that I have with this guy are going to be his feet, and I'll show you that here in a little bit. So rotate that down and get that out of the way, because that's really unfortunate looking. Keep this up, just like so. Take this, untab this, rotate this down and around, and here's his hand. Just gotta get a fingernail in there. Fold that out. Again, rotate this out and down and around like so. Fold out the hand. The head, you just kind of lift it up. It's very loose inside here. It doesn't really secure or lock anywhere. Rotate that down, and then just kind of take this, rotate these bits out. Well, I guess it doesn't really matter which way you do it. And then fold this in. That's going to lock into place. And here you have Brawl. Now, my biggest problem with Brawl is he is a fairly back-heavy guy, and he doesn't have a very secure heel at all. And he just falls. You can chicken leg him a little bit, and if you rotate his legs out where they're kind of positioned like this, you can get him to stand better. And that's not terribly ugly, but it's also not really fun, and it really kind of limits his posability. It's unfortunate, because I really think that this could be a cool looking figure. For his articulation, his head is on a ball joint, but you do have to be careful, because like I said, it just flops right back down into his chest cavity. Oh, and then I'm sorry, you're actually supposed to take this and squish that in. I mean, it was down like so, so then just take it here and squish it back up. It doesn't do a hell of a lot. It doesn't really show too much, but you're supposed to. So, but the head, like I said, very kind of underwhelming in my opinion. The shoulders here, they rotate, but there's so much junk around here, you don't get much of a range of motion with it. And then they move in and out, but they're on a completely separate joint. So you got a joint here and then a joint on the inside there. So that's how that's working. And then he's got a ball jointed elbow. The wrists, I guess, move up and down, I suppose, as just part of the transformation. He really doesn't have waist articulation, but you can kind of sort of get him to rotate left and right because of the hips. The hips are actually a really good hip, and then you can see he rotates kind of like that. That's where his hips rotate. Now, I don't know why. Well, I mean, I do know why. It's because one thing that's really neat about these figures, and I'll show this off later on, they can all be interchanged. So, for example, Swindle can actually be an arm, just like Brawl can also be an arm. Very G1-esque, which is really kind of cool, and I'll show that off later on. But, you know, you got his gun, and there you go. You can have him hold his gun. The hips here, though, like I said, are on ball joints. He bends at the knee, and, well, he also rotates at the upper part of the thigh, and then the feet go forward and back. It's just it's a very limited figure. I mean, you can get the positioning just right and he'll stand there, but you have to get it perfect, and some of the time it really kind of looks like he's going to be leaning forward, which is really kind of unfortunate. So getting this out of the way, going back to his tank mode, rotate these fists up and then up like so, rotate that around, up like so, take the head, pop that down, take the hip section, it was down like I said, pull it out just like so, fold up the feet, rotate this around, you're going to be bringing these up, rotate that around, bring that up, and then tab this in on itself here like so, and then again here's a little bit, this is dangerous. I think this tab right here fits inside this slot, and when you rotate it up, it just makes me really nervous. Kind of get these legs in there before you get the arms in there, just makes it a little bit easier. And then rotate that up, and then you have to tab that in, and there you go, that's in there. And then if you got that right, you're gonna have that whole section done. Put the leg up there, fold this up, tab that in like so, rotate this up, locking that in, and that kind of lines up nicely. And then again, you got a little tab section here and little holes on the inside here, which are really tough to get into. You really have to kind of push and get it to lock in. And again, it makes me feel like something's gonna break, but there you go. Take this, you can do whatever you want with it, kind of leave it like so, and then take this, plug that into the top, just like that. And here you have Brawl back into his floating tank mode. Now, in almost every picture that I've seen, this guy is here, and then rotate these around. He is mistransformed, and that's because a lot of people are just taking it out of the box and taking pictures of it. Well, he's mistransformed in the box. To get him into the actual limb mode, again, we're just gonna loosen this up, fold this down, take the gun out, just like so, kind of leave that like so. This is going to be the attachment right there. Take this section here, rotate this around like so, untab this, angle this down, and I'm sorry, here we go, and you need to rotate the hand out just like that. So the fist is going to be kind of used as a heel spur, and I'm just kind of lining everything up right now. Get that out like so, just like so, there we go, and then just put this back in there just like that, line that up nicely like so. Take this section here, rotate this down and around, and again, keeping this down, you want to tab this bit in on the bottom and then this on the bottom as well, so you're creating this look. Take this, untab these, rotate these down, and then you're going to see the little slots here. These slot in to the barrels of his gun, and here you have Brawl in his leg mode. Much different looking than what we're seeing in the pictures and on the actual box. So I actually kind of like the way that this looks a whole lot more. So here we have Brawl in his leg mode. Going to set him to the back, and then we're going to come up to the big guy himself, Onslaught. And really, the kind of ironic thing is that Onslaught really isn't all that big of a guy, and you can really see that he really is just kind of a mess. It's really kind of unfortunate. This is probably the ugliest of all the actual vehicle modes amongst all the Combaticons. It's really just sloppy. I mean, there's not much into it. It's like they took it and they kind of forced a vehicle mode in them. I mean, you can see there's Bruticus's head right there just dangling out. I mean, you got his crotch plate just right there. All this stuff is just incorporated into it, and it comes across very messy. He's not a truck or a big flatbed truck thing that I guess a lot of people really wanted him. I guess it kind of sort of has that resemblance, maybe, because this is flat here. honestly, I don't know. It's a really underwhelming looking vehicle mode. It's just really kind of blah. And you can see it's really not much big. I mean, it's actually smaller a little bit than Swindle here, but this guy really should be bigger. This is one of the biggest problems with this entire set. Onslaught being a deluxe really gives it a much smaller look in terms of Bruticus form than it really should have. It should be a lot more massive of a figure. You got really massive looking limbs, and then the torso is just really kind of tiny. This really should have been a Voyager, if you ask me. Now, while his vehicle mode is pretty ugly, the robot mode isn't all that bad. I actually kind of like it. This cannon here just tabs in and see it, and then if you take it off, you can start seeing, I mean, here's his hands and everything. I actually rotate Bruticus's head around. You're not supposed to, according to the instructions, you're supposed to leave it like this, but if you don't, I mean, that's what you're kind of left with, and it just, I don't like it. I just don't like it. So we're gonna rotate these out just like so. Rotate that out. There's his arms. Yay, his arms! And then this whole torso bit here actually just rotates around, and then just, as you could, well, you couldn't even hear it. It rotates around and then just kind of sits there in place. Rotate these around. These were up, fold those down, and then angle these out just like so, and then bring them down. Do the same on this side, and angle these out, and then rotate these down. And then again, because you have Bruticus's head here, you don't want that there. So I'm going to rotate that around because I think it just hides it a little bit better. Rotate this around and set that there. Then take this, rotate these, untab these from the side, and then rotate these around. Those will lock into place. Get this out of the way. This angles up just like so. And then you can kind of see where these little sections right here slot inside here, but they don't stay in there very well. They just kind of rest there, and it just, I mean, it stays there fairly good. It just doesn't actually secure in very nicely. Untab this, rotate this around, that locks into place. Rotate this around, and then I'm seeing again a lot of people mistransform him. Kind of, they're stopping here with the head when actually it has one more click. Angling up a little bit, you can see that it looks like he's really kind of got a sunken head thing in here, but just make sure you push it back and you'll hear a click. And now you have his head fully extended. And here you have Onslaught in his robot mode. I don't think that this is all that bad. I mean, you got this bit, like I said, that doesn't really lock up in here and stay in here. And then a lot of people are asking if there's any way to actually tab this in. And there isn't, because as you can see, you got this giant tab, this handle right here dangling down here, and you got Bruticus's head, and there's no way to kind of turn this to actually get that in there. Plus, as you can see, these little pegs right here, they're angling down, so you would have to angle this up to get that actually to peg in there, and you can't do it. There's no way to do it. Now you can take this and you can move this down, and you can kind of sort of I guess put it here, but again, the tabs are going down, and then you're trying to push this in sideways, and there's real no way. I mean, you can just jam it up in here. Let me see if I can just wedge this in here in some kind of way. I mean, it's not gonna work. And now people are like, well, there's a hole on the inside here. Sure, but this handle is too big for this. It doesn't fit. And so there's not even any way that you can do that. So as far as I can tell, there is no way to tab this in here. You got extra holes and everything here, but nothing is working. So that would look cool if you could actually do that and get that kind of look. It would look a whole lot better, but unfortunately you can't. You're just stuck with him holding this as his weapon, and it's kind of unfortunate, I guess, but it's a minor nitpick. I would have liked to have seen that incorporated somehow, and I'm sure we'll get a third-party company that'll do something like that, and everybody will be happy. Now, these arms really kind of look weird, I guess. They kind of flail outward a little bit, and it's really kind of weird, I guess, but you can see that he is a smaller figure. Now, like I said, they are a deluxe size figure. For a size comparison, here he is next to Shockwave, and as you can see that he is actually a little bit bigger of a figure, but all these figures are kind of a little bit bigger, I guess. Some of them aren't, but like the arms really aren't that much bigger. But you can see that at least he is a little bit bigger. It just, he really needs to be a little bit more bigger. Now, Now, in terms of his articulation, his head will go left and right. It is kind of on a ball joint, so you get a little bit of up and down, left and right movement, things like that. But I mean, it really actually looks pretty good. And the face on here is actually really nice. The arms rotate here on this whole joint right here, which then when you do it, it kind of makes his arms look weird and lower. I mean, because it's like, it makes it look like his shoulder's up here, and then when you rotate it, it makes it look like his shoulder is now down here, which is kind of derpy, I guess. The elbows here, they're actually on ratchet joints. This one isn't as secure as this one. This one is a very strong ratchet joint that almost every now and then makes the ball joint that's right here pop out. And that ball joint really just kind of serves to rotate at the elbow. That's really all it is. He's got a little bit of waist articulation, obviously because of the transformation. The hips are on ball joints as well. Well, I'm sorry, they're actually not on ball joints. They're actually on ratchet joints, and that makes sense because these are going to be the legs, and they have to support the weight of Bruticus, I suppose. So that makes sense. They move in and out, forward and back. They also bend, they rotate. They also, like I said, they bend at the knee, nothing at the foot though. So, hello guys. So Onslaught really is a bit of a letdown, if you ask me. He doesn't look too bad in robot mode. Vehicle mode though, he's just really kind of weak. Now going back to vehicle mode, take this section here, rotate this around, get these arms out of the way, rotate that around, that locks into place, rotate that around, that will lock into place, right like so. Come around here, rotate all this, take this section, angle this all the way down. This just folds back like so. Rotate that all the way around, take the head, tuck that, and then pop that into place like so. Take this, rotate this up, and like I said, that just kind of sits on the top here and covers up the back of his head. At least on mine. I mean, if you have the regular head there, it's going to hide that as well. Fold this back. You're supposed to take these and fold these back. Why? I have no idea, honestly. And then you take this. Your best bet is to take this and do it one arm at a time. And then when you have that finally locked in, for some reason, it's not locking in very well right now for me. So I'm just going to do it like so and just sit it on there. And then this is him back in his vehicle mode, and like I said, really kind of underwhelming. It's just underwhelming. I don't think it looks very good at all. Now to go into the main torso part, what you want to do is rotate this all out. Like I said, you're going to separate this pretty much. You already have them kind of in it. Rotate this around, and then this is going to come up. That tabs into place like so. Kind of angle these. You can angle these back. Because of the ratchet joint, it really kind of makes them kind of stand upward, very tall-like. Rotate these around. Rotate this out. Kind of leaving that up, I guess. You know, angle up so you guys can see a little bit better. Rotate these out. Rotate that around. And then these are going to come around here, and they hold on to the little tabs on the back. So rotate here, hold the little nubs, I suppose, just like so. Then come around here and then rotate his head around. And here you have Bruticus's main upper body thingamajigger. And to connect, now these connectors are actually really nice. I like these so much more than what we got with the Power Core combiners. They actually really improved these. They are very secure. Just take them, and they're very similar, but they aren't coming out. I mean, that is absolutely secure. There is no popping out of the joint at all, and then it rotates as well still. So do that with Bruticus and Brawl. The problem is doing that, sometimes they go flying back, which kind of sucks, but just get a good hold on it, and there we go. Now, one thing that I will show you here is that, and I'll angle up, this, when you have it like this, it really kind of makes it look ugly. You can see the connector bit right there. not a big fan of how that actually looks. That's really kind of ugly. So what I actually do is do a little bit purposely mistransforming. I actually lift that up just to kind of fill that gap in there on the side, because when you keep it down like that, it looks very thin. At least with him, kind of fills that in. I fold that up just to kind of give it that kind of look. Now I can leave it like that. It doesn't bother me all that much. But there is Bruticus with some of his limbs. And then this piece actually comes around here to the back. And now this actually will attach to the back. Now you have a clear space right inside here. Plus these little these little tabs are going straight. So you just take this using these holes here and here, plug that in on the back, just like that. Turn it around, and there you have Bruticus. And then for one final little bit, there's all these little bits I keep forgetting actually. Take this section, fold that up, and fold that up just like so. Setting him all the way to the back. You can really start to see how big this guy is becoming. But now we need some arms on this guy, so up next we'll be taking a look at Blastoff. And as for Blastoff, I actually really do like the way this guy looks. I mean, he does kind of look like a space shuttle. I mean, a Cybertronian one. But really very kind of cool looking. I really do actually dig the way that this guy looks. Very simple, but just, I don't know. He's kind of fun looking, and you can see some really nice paint applications here. This is, you know, the San Diego Comic-Con version, so different color. You got the brown, you got the silver, which looks really nice. You got purple all the way through there. Some nice molded detail actually here on the purple as well. Really very, very cool. I really do dig this guy. I honestly do. I know some people were not really liking him, but I think he's a nice looking figure. I mean, it definitely looks like a space shuttle flying through. It actually really kind of reminds me of the space shuttle that we saw in the original animated movie. Definitely has kind of those same kind of proportions, I suppose. Now, so to transform him, remove these. He's got his little cannons here stuck on the side. So get those off, set those off. Then come around here, and then again, tabs that make me feel like they're gonna break. All of them have them. That's definitely a downside to this, and it just makes me worried, because if you're forcing it in the wrong direction, it might stress those tabs and might make them break, and that's all. So rotate that down, rotate this down, and here you have his legs basically done. Angle that out of the way. Take this section here, fold this back, and then separate this, and then just rotate these up and around. Take this section right here, untab this, fold that back so that when you rotate this, you're actually able to bring Vortex's head out. I'm sorry, Blastoff's head's out, Vortex, oops. And then this is going to, if it's straight, come up in here, tab into place just like so, creating his chest. Then bring these up. Now again, tabs that make me nervous. As you can see, you got a little tiny angular tab that goes in here. It makes me nervous. It really does, because you kind of have to force that in. And well, at least the ball joint popped off and nothing else popped off. So put that right back in there. And the tab, like I said, it honestly just makes me nervous, because you're forcing it, and I don't want to stress that. And then lift this up, lock that into place. Rotate these arms down from underneath, just like so. Do that on this side as well, just like so. And straighten everything out, rotate these around. And here you have Blastoff in his actual robot mode. Now these don't really tab in anything. They're actually, because the way the ball joint is, I mean, that's how his arms are articulated. So that really, it's not all that bad, but it actually does kind of limit his articulation when you're trying to do anything, because this is, as you can see, going on an angle. So his arms, when you want, they can't go straight up. They go on an angle when you go inward. So it does kind of suck in terms of his articulation, but really Blastoff, I think, is a very cool looking figure. I really dig the way the guy looks. I think he could use a little bit more paint applications, especially here where his thrusters kind of are. I really would have liked to have seen that painted silver. I probably could do it myself, but as a San Diego Comic-Con, I would have loved to have seen if they took that silver and really brought out some of these extra details there. Now, he does have his guns. You can just plug those in each hand. And I really like these guns too. I mean, they're really big barrel, kind of almost grenade launcher sort of guns. And again, I would have liked to have seen some extra details coming in on here, and maybe some silver or something thrown in there. Very kind of cool looking figure though. In terms of his articulation, his head is on a ball joint, so a little bit of up and down, left and right, and it actually is kind of a little bit loose of one, but it's not floppy or anything. Like I said, the shoulders here are on ball joints, but they go on an angle, so it is a little bit limited with its posability, I guess. And then you have to keep this all the way up, because if you don't, I mean, then he's got gorilla arms, I guess. But I love the way that this kind of comes together and just makes him have really big shoulders. It's very cool. The elbows here are actually on two hinge joints, or well, you got a hinge joint and then a ball joint, so good range of motion as well. And then you can see there's some extra motion up there just as part of the transformation. Waist, nothing at the waist. He's not rotating at the waist, which that kind of sucks. The hips here, they're on ball joints. No, again, I keep saying they're ball joints, but they're just swivel joints here, back and forth. Well, you got a pin as well, and then they move in and out. They rotate at the upper part of the thigh. They bend at the knee, and that is it. He does not have any feet or anything. I mean, just his feet are these giant side panels. So really a very cool looking figure. Like I said, I really actually do dig this guy. I know some people weren't digging him, but for me, I really do like him. Then I transform him back into his spaceship mode. Get rid of these guns. Fold that back. Then angle this. Now here, get this out of the way. Angle that up, and then these rotate down and inside like so. So fold that up, and then fold that down, and those are going to lock into place. And then you have to, again, makes me nervous, but you have to pull that out, and you can hear it. It sounds fragile to me. Untab this back section here, and then untab this, and you can then rotate the head all the way around. Bring this in, that locks into place just like so. Rotate this back, get the legs kind of out of the way. Rotate that back, bring these together, tab those together like so, and then bring it up, and then this will lock into place just like that. Then bring these legs up, oops, rotate them here at the thigh, bring the legs up, rotate them there at the thigh, angle these up. And then again, you have to tab that in there, and then there's another little tab section here in the back where this little tiny wing actually clips into the foot. So tab that in, click, and here you have him back in his space shuttle mode. And you can do it like this, where it looks like he's blasting off, which is really very, very cool. That came undone. Now, I'm not going to put these back on because I'm going to transform him into his limb mode, and you need to take those off anyhow. So for his limb, just kind of take this, you angle this out, untab this, rotate this down, and again, these little tabs, they like getting in the way, especially this one. This one does not come out very easily. There we go. Angle that down, rotate this around, then you're going to untab these and actually, oops, there we go. Bring this out. And now, depending on what side you want to do, you actually have the ability to use two different hands. You got thumbs here, and then obviously on this side, you have a thumb as well. So if you want to put it on this side of them, you got to use the proper thumb configuration. If you want to use it on that side, you got to use the proper thumb configuration. So just like so, rotate this down and around, and rotate this. And then you're going to, now I'm going to do that, so I'm going to tuck that thumb away. Bring this in. This hooks together. Come on. This hooks together like so, and then bring this down. And the hands right here kind of clip together just like that. Just like so. And then fold this out. Bring out that. And here you have his arm, which, very big arm, very gargantuan size arm, huge arm, and that's one of the big problems, I guess. The arms on here, I guess, at least for me, look a little bit too big, honestly. And then why is that not really working? I'm sorry, guys, I actually had that wrong. I had it like this, and that's not right. You need to rotate that around, and then you need to bring this up. So like that, and then bring these together, and then clip these hand pieces together. Terribly sorry about that, guys. People make mistakes. And then you have it, and then this is how it actually bends here at the elbow. That's his elbow articulation, I suppose. But there's his arm, and then all you have to do, come around here to Bruticus, take this big guy, and then slam that in there like so. And now you have at least one of his arms, and a very long arm. And I know a lot of people were kind of complaining about how big these arms are really kind of looking, and he does have very long arms. I mean, as you can see, it comes all the way down past his knees. But we're almost done. We need one more arm, so that's where Vortex comes in. Now, Vortex, it's kind of weird. I mean, he's obviously a helicopter that rotates very nicely. You just have to spin it yourself, or if you really wanted to, you can put it together and you can have just a single-bladed one. It kind of depends on what you want. But he really almost looks like a bug, kind of. I mean, with the way that the cockpit is, obviously, he doesn't really, I mean, he has the helicopter look, but it's kind of, I don't know, he looks like a bug to me. I mean, he's got this big giant gun here on the side. You got these blades here on this side, which remove, and they're just his weapons. So I'm going to go ahead and take those off right now. He's kind of a funny looking helicopter, I guess. I mean, it works. He definitely looks like a helicopter. It's just, I don't know, just really kind of goofy looking. Really nice Decepticon logo on here. Very nice paint job. Again, like I said, I picked this setup because I prefer the paint job on this one more than any other one. So this definitely works for me. So to transform, take this, fold this back, and then rotate these bits around just like so. Take this section here, fold that out, separate this, put that up in there, put that up in there, rotate this around, rotate that around, take these, fold these inward, do that on both sides, and that's really kind of tough. Rotate the torso bit around, come around here, take this, separate this, lift that back, kind of fold that back like so. We're going to rotate this all the way back like that, then take this section, fold this down, and that's actually going to kind of clip into place. Rotate Vortex's head around like so, rotate these up, and then you can untab these, rotate that down, rotate at the elbow, straighten this out, bring that down, do that on this side as well. That'll kind of lock into place. Rotate that, and here you have Vortex. Now, I actually really kind of dig the way that this guy looks too. It's really neat. This whole thing here always just kind of bugged me when they put like a weapon that's permanently attached to him. It's kind of weird. I'm not a big fan of it, but I mean, you can have him hold it like that and kind of use it as a melee weapon or something, I guess, if you really wanted to. But it's a decent looking figure. Again, I think this is another figure that a lot of people are not giving a lot of credit to, and I really think it comes across looking a little bit better actually in person than even I thought it was actually going to look. Individually, I think all of these bots are fairly nice looking, just some minor problems amongst all of them. I mean, and all of them, I mean, all Transformers kind of had that. Put that in there. Now you can do this as a gun sort of thing, but I prefer doing it like swords because I think that fits his character better. I mean, he's got blades on his arms, so I think that's really kind of cool that he would have kind of swords and things of that nature. So really very cool on this guy. Now his articulation is a little bit limited here in terms of his head because of these panels here on the side. That's about as far as you're going to get him looking left and right. Now you can lift it up and you can have him looking up and maybe have him fly or something like that, but you're not going to get a lot of left and right motion with it, which really does kind of suck. The shoulders here are on ball joints, so nice range of motion all the way around. You just got to watch out for the blades because they're going to get caught on stuff. In and out. He also rotates at the elbow or the lower part of the bicep. bends at the elbow, but that's only as far as his elbow bends. It's not a full 90-degree bend. It's, I don't even know what degree that would be, but definitely not a full 90-degree bend. He rotates at the waist, so nice range of motion there. These hips up on here, what are these? What are these? They're actually ball joints, so full range of motion, obviously. He also rotates at the mid-thigh, bends at the knee at 2 spots, actually. So really good range of motion in his knees. And generally, I mean, like I said, you're going to have a little bit more harder time posing it because this bit right here does not move that far. So your articulation is a little bit more limited on this, but it's all there. So you have the articulation, you're just not going to get a lot of posability. It's more limited, I suppose. But I do really enjoy the way Vortex looks. Now his arm mode is a little bit goofy. So to get to there, we're going to go back to his helicopter. Kind of loosen this, fold this back. Again, rotate his head around, tuck that up, bring that up just like so. We're going to bring these down. We're going to worry about these here in a second. Rotate that around, rotate this, fold this back, just like so. Do that here as well. Rotate this up, rotate that around, fold that down. This comes together, and that locks into place, right like so. Then take this, fold that out, and then angle, oh, I'm sorry, then you need to rotate this around and then bring these up. And now you're going to go back to his helicopter first just to make things a little bit easier, and then that just snaps together like so. And actually, you can't even do that. You have to keep this bit out because there's not enough clearance. So that, lock this into place here on the side, rotate this around, and here you have him back in his helicopter mode for the most part. Now, to go into actual limb mode, you need to separate this and then angle this all the way down, just like so. There's an extra joint up in here that accordions all the way up, and then that will lock into place. Take these, separate these, fold this out, and a lot of people have made fun of this. It's karate chop hand. Karate chop hand. Yeah, that's what we're going to call it. And then angle this down, just like so. And here you have him in his actual, well, and then, I'm sorry, you have it like this, and then you actually have to rotate it. Here you have him in his actual arm mode. Now, again, people have kind of complained about this. You can angle this up, and you can kind of keep this like so. Except in doing so, you really limit its range of motion. You really kind of have to leave it like this. I mean, you don't have to extend it all the way down. You can kind of keep it bent a little bit more, I guess, and that will kind of give you some of his articulation still, but I don't know. It's personal preference, I guess. I don't really care too much about that. I know it looks a little bit goofier with the long arm, I suppose, but with the fat forearm and the thin kind of middle section here, but I don't think it's all that bad. And then you just come to this guy again, and his leg detached. So plug that back in there, and then just take this and plug this in here. And here you have Bruticus fully transformed and just looking really monstrous. This guy is a very, very big transformer. Now, one other thing that you can really kind of do is you can take, and it actually makes a bigger gun. Plug that in there, I guess. Plug that in there. Plug that there. And then these are supposed to go on the side like so, and like so. Well, you can do it like that, or you can actually plug it in here. I'll just do it here because I think that's the way the actual packaging shows it. So there's that, and then he holds it in only his right hand here, and the way that the articulation is on this, it's really kind of awkward, and it looks kind of goofy. So getting that out of the way, in terms of his actual articulation, it's really not all that bad for something that's this monstrous in terms of size. For a size comparison, there you see him with the Fall of Cybertron Shockwave, and you can see very big figure. And just for the heck of it, there's Classics Bumblebee. Now, as far as articulation, this being as big as this is, I'm really surprised at how well articulated it is. His head goes left and right, kinda. I gotta hold this. His head goes left and right, and his head is actually really nice looking. Zooming in here, you can see, and I'm sorry that it's on an angle. This is just so big, but you can really see that the head is very nicely painted and very nicely sculpted. Very cool looking. But that's all for his head. His waist is actually articulated, so you can rotate it left and right. The arms here rotate all the way around. They also move in and out. And then if you angle this back a little bit more, and both of these actually kind of angle back, if you angle that more, you can get a much higher range of motion with it. But that just kind of looks weird, I suppose, but kind of gives them a little bit more bulk to them. Now, the way that this arm is positioned, it bends here, kind of at the elbow. I guess you could kind of sort of call that an elbow joint there that came loose. I guess you can kind of call that an elbow joint if you really want, but then it also rotates here as well. So nice range of motion, and yes, he does have kind of a karate chop action looking hand, and then the finger here, or the thumb, is actually articulated, so you can make it even worse looking if you really want, even more extreme and crazy looking, I guess. Now this one's a little bit different. He does have the same rotation here at the shoulder, and you can see it holds very nicely up. And like I said, you can go in and out, but it rotates up here, just above where I guess his elbow would be. But his elbow is right here, so all you can really do is do this. Now there's no rotation here at the wrist or anything, so if you want to have the elbow going the right way, you need to leave it like this, and that just looks really ugly. So that's kind of unfortunate, and I know people are going to complain about that. Now in terms of his hips, getting these out of the way, his hips are actually Onslaught's hips, so they move forward and back, but they don't go too far forward because of the crotch piece, so you have that bit right there. And then the knees also bend, so you can get some good poses with this guy. It just kind of depends on how patient you want to be. And then they also rotate at the knee itself, so really nicely articulated. I'm really kind of surprised at how well the articulation on this actually came across. I really didn't think a big figure like this really would get that nice of articulation. One of the more unfortunate aspects of this is that while he looks really massive and kind of big here, like I said, Onslaught kind of is too small for him. He really should have been a much bigger figure, and it really kind of shows, especially when you turn Bruticus on his side, and you can see just how thin he is. That's a very unfortunate aspect of using all deluxe size figures for it. I really would have loved it if they actually did a Voyager for Onslaught, just to kind of make him stand out a little bit more. I think it would have been much better use of everything, I guess. But all in all, I actually do enjoy this guy. I really honestly didn't think I was going to. The bottom line is that this is the very first kind of real effort from Hasbro to give us a combiner since the old days. I know we've gotten them, but they've really all kind of sucked. And the recent Power Core combiners really kind of left a bad taste in a lot of people's mouths, including myself. I really liked what they improved with this figure compared to those Power Core combiners. The connectors specifically are so much better on this guy. Now, this being the San Diego Comic-Con edition, as I've mentioned many times, this is a specific color that we're not going to get anywhere else. This is a game accurate color of this set, and this is by far the version that I liked the most. I don't like the retail look I don't like the colors on it at all. So when I was going to San Diego Comic-Con, I was very happy to actually be able to pick this up. Now, the regular retail version of this will be out later on this year, and you'll be able to pick them up. They're all coming out individually. Like I said, the SDCC version is the only set that comes with them all together in this specific color. Now, I think Amazon has like the G2 color where you can get all of them together, but it's in the G2 color scheme. The figures that you're going to find at retail are all going to be individually packed. So you have to do a little bit of hunting to try to complete your Bruticus. But if you want this specific color, you had to go to San Diego Comic-Con or get this off of HasbroToyShop.com, which at the time of this recording hasn't gone on sale yet. I believe it goes on sale the Monday after San Diego Comic-Con. And by the time you guys see this, it might already be sold out. So good luck. But I really do think that this is a nice job for a combiner. And I really hope that we see more from Hasbro and really kind of evolve the look and the design of these. Because I really think that they're onto something here. But that's about it, guys. I know that this was a very long video, and I want to thank you for tuning in and sticking with me the whole time. But here is your look at the 2012 San Diego Comic-Con exclusive version of Bruticus. And until next time, this has been Optibotimus. I want to thank you for tuning in. I'll talk to you later.